Welcome to another RSR. Tonight we are recapping the Conference Semifinals and predicting the Conference Finals of the 2024 MLS Cup Playoffs. Reacción de la Conferencia Semifinales y predicción de la Conferencia Finales in la MLS. We had horrible prediction record during the conference semis. Was hoping for an upset. That went out the window. And the two upsets that did happen, I did not expect to happen. And the Galaxy are the Galaxy. With that being said, Eastern Conference Semifinal 2, NYCFC 0, New York Red Bulls 2, NYCFC 0, New York Red Bulls 2. I was wrong about this one. I thought NYCFC would win at home. Red Bulls are a buzzsaw. Not as big of a buzzsaw as the Galaxy are, but they are pretty damn good, and they want this, and they are overplaying their seed for sure. They are a 7 seed. They don't look it at all. They don't look it at all. They look like they're more of a 3, 4, 5 seed than a 7 seed. They beat Columbus over 2 games. I know Columbus was running out of gas, but NYCFC is been looking pretty good recently, and they've had Red Bull's number recently, but Red Bulls have always beat them in knockout games. They do it again. Deservedly so. NYCFC had to score early. They didn't. Red Bulls sort of did score early, and it just went bad from there for NYCFC. They were on the ball more, but NYCFC just didn't have the finishing capabilities, the defense there. There were moments where they looked like they should have won this game, but it just went off for them. But I was wrong about this one. 0-1 on my predictions. 0 for 1, 0-1, however you want to say it. It was wrong. Western Conference Semifinal 1. LAFC 1. Seattle Sounders FC 2. LAFC 1. Seattle Sounders 2. I was wrong about this one as well because LAFC didn't even want to show up. Why was I wrong? LAFC didn't even show up. They didn't even want to play. They didn't even want to try. They were just playing the game or going through the motions. They were at home. Seattle were playing very well defensively. They put themselves into a defensive shell after losing Paul Rothrock. They lost 2 of their better defenders. That's when LAFC started to look a little bit more like themselves. But in the end, Seattle still had an own goal, scored an own goal, as in it was for them, not against them. Chanot, of course, popped one into the net. Then Jordan Morris scored in extra time. And LAFC gets shocked. They've been choking a lot recently, haven't they? That's pretty much how you could put it, can you? I was wrong about this one. 0-2, 0 for 2 on my conference semi predictions. Eastern Conference Semifinal 1, Orlando City SC 1, Atlanta United FC 0. Orlando City 1, Atlanta United 0. I was wrong about this one. I thought Atlanta would come out and do the same thing they did to Miami. Forgot to mention that Orlando's defense is better than Miami's. They're much more solid. They don't score many goals, especially during the playoffs, but they don't allow many goals. Miami allowed more goals than they scored, but they still scored a lot of goals. Orlando's the opposite. They haven't allowed many. They haven't scored many, but they've scored enough. But they allowed less than they've scored. Orlando ain't looked that good. I don't think they look that good, but they're solid. Sort of like Seattle. And I guess that's what matters for Orlando, is that they're solid. Do I think it's going to be easier for them? I'll leave that for the predictions. But Atlanta, they lost their 2 strikers. They lost both their main strikers, their starter and backup throughout the match. Tiare injured in the first half. Rios injured right at the start of the second. taking a ball off the head. They had to bring in a right back just for Rios. It was never going to happen for Atlanta with that type of luck. And I think they needed their momentum. The momentum was killed because of the international break. If they had their momentum, this game might have been different. But they were sitting on their butts for 2 weeks. Orlando was sitting on their butts for a little bit longer, actually. No, they had a game 3 as well, but they both sat on their butts for 2 weeks, but Orlando were the better team, so I guess rest equalizes it. I was wrong about this one, 0 for 3, 0-3 on my conference semi predictions. Western Conference Semifinal 2, LA Galaxy 6, Minnesota United FC 2, LA Galaxy 6, Minnesota United FC 2. I was right about this one. The only one I was right about was this. Why? LA Galaxy are a wagon right now. Minnesota aren't that great. LA Galaxy are a wagon. They beat the hell out of Colorado twice. They beat the hell out of Minnesota. They've only allowed 3 goals, but they've scored bunches more. Like, what? You times 3 by like 7. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so 3 times 5 or something like that. I'm not good at math. All I know is LA Galaxy have tripled the amount of goals they've allowed. Scored-wise. They've only allowed 3. They've tripled that on their scoring column. They are a wagon. Do I think against Seattle they're going to do that? No. We'll get into it. But I do know LA's on fire, and they're not just going to sit and think like, oh, we're fine. No. Not against Seattle. Not like LAFC did, but we'll get there. 1 for 4 on my predictions. 1-3 on my conference semi predictions. Horrible weekend for me. MLS Conference Final predictions. Eastern Conference Final. Orlando City SC versus New York Red Bulls. Orlando hosts the 4 seed in the East, but they host because Red Bulls are the 7. Orlando City SC contra New York Red Bulls. For me, I don't care that Red Bulls are away to Orlando. I don't. I think Red Bulls are going to win. They really want this. 1. Second of all, they've played stingy defenses to a certain extent, solid teams to a certain extent, and still won. Will this game end within 90 minutes? That I'm not sure. What I am sure of is that Red Bull is a lot more of a challenge to Orlando than what you probably would have got out of NYCFC. Red Bull are not a 7 seed of the thought that they are what they are. Their seed does not explain what they are. The way they've been playing under Forsberg, with Forsberg recently, under Schwartz, the way they've been playing recently, it is not a 7 seed team. The reason they were a 7 seed is Forsberg got hurt. They got rid of Frankie Amaya. And for a while there, they lost 2 of their best players. And they suffered for a little bit. They suffered a little bit there. But since Forsberg came back, they've been on a mission. They've been on fire. Going back into the regular season at the end of it. They've been on fire. They're still on fire. You don't beat Columbus because you don't deserve to. And they proved that by beating NYCFC at Citi Field on a baseball field. They proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that they deserve to be here. Orlando, not really. They played stingy teams. They played a stingy team, went to 3 games, won on 2 penalty shootouts. Or won a penalty shootout, won outright game 1, won the penalty shootout, lost in Charlotte. That was their own making. They play Atlanta, who aren't as hot because they had to sit. Atlanta was always a mirage. Red Bulls, we've just proven, are real. There's a difference between these 2 Cinderella stories. This ain't going to be like yesterday for Orlando. Yeah, yesterday. It ain't going to be like yesterday at the time of recording. It ain't going to be like yesterday. No. No. You're playing a team who's real. And the sad part for you is, I hate to tell you, but I think Red Bulls get it done. 2-1. I don't know if it's going to be a late winner. They have the 2 goals. Orlando scores or it's extra time. I don't know how exactly. I just say 2-1 Red Bull. Red Bull goes to the MLS Cup Final for the first time since 2008. This time out of the East. They haven't really been good at Eastern Conference Finals compared to Western Conference Finals, but this time, there you go. Western Conference Final. LA Galaxy versus Seattle Sounders FC. Don Garber is mad. He didn't get what he wanted, at least in the West. LA Galaxy contra Seattle Sounders FC. Seattle did upset LAFC, but LAFC did not care one damn bit about playing that game. No. LA Galaxy are going to be at home. They care. They are a wagon. Nuhu and Yamar might be out. And even if they do play, they'll be less than 100%. Which basically means this. If they're less than 100%, Gabriel Peck, Ricky Poos, Joseph Paintsill, Dejan Joveljic will be feasting. This is going to be a 3-0 win, 3-1 win for LA Galaxy. Maybe it won't be 5-6-7, but I guarantee you this will, I won't say be over before it even started, but it's definitely going to be over very, very quickly. Seattle's not a bad team, but LA Galaxy are just on another level right now. And with how the playoffs have played out, if they don't win MLS Cup, they have failed. They have failed. They bottled the number 1 seed in the West. It doesn't matter. They beat the hell out of Colorado. They beat the hell out of Minnesota. They don't have to play LAFC at BMO Stadium, Bank of California Stadium, because LAFC choked. If they didn't, it would have been there for El Tráfico, which I don't know what that would have entailed exactly. It would have been close. It would have been crazy. It would have been a very good game, a very watched game. But would that have been... I think Galaxy probably still would have won it if LAFC just got through by the skin of their teeth against Seattle. Because, again, LA Galaxy have been much more convincing. But I do know now that LA Galaxy... Seattle's coming to the Galaxy. They have been very convincing. They have not had to break a damn sweat. Either breaking a sweat makes them choke, or they don't really break a sweat here either. And I'm going to lean towards they don't break a sweat here either. Which means my predicted MLS Cup final is LA Galaxy versus the New York Red Bulls. A MLS Originals MLS Cup to end the 29th season of MLS, going into MLS 30, because next year's the 30th year of MLS. 5 years later from 2020. 25 plus 5 is whatever. Either way, MLS Originals, one with 5 cups, one with no cups. It's either Original wins their first ever MLS Cup, or we got a first to 6 team who was an Original, who come back from their mediocrity of the last decade and finally show that they are back. The Galaxy are back where they should be. Who knows? But I got LA Galaxy hosting the Red Bulls on December 7th. That's what I think's going to happen. Either way out of the East, if I'm wrong, whoever wins will be going for their first MLS Cup. It's either going to be an expansion team or an Original. Out of the West, there will be a team who's won one before going for another. Whether that be an Original with 6, with 5, going for 6, or an expansion team with 2, going for 3. It's that simple. But we'll find out on Saturday. We'll find out on Saturday how it will go for and see who plays the MLS Cup final. I'm going with Original versus Original, 5v0. Looking for 6 or 1. Either way, we'll see. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow for 2 streams, 1 review. First is the Caribbean Cup 3rd place first leg. Real Hope FA versus Mocha FC. The second game, the first leg of the final, Cavalier versus Cibao. Then we will also review that one as well. So 2 streams, 1 review. Wednesday, of course, we got the first leg of Esteli versus Alajuelense, live review. Thursday, we'll be live for Heidenheim versus Chelsea, live review. Friday, we will be live for the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State versus Ole Miss. Mississippi State at Ole Miss, live review. Saturday, live review. Of course, the Eastern Conference Final comes first. Not enough time to review it, though. We go live for the Eastern Conference Final. We go live for the Western Conference Final. We review the Western Conference Final. Sunday, we recap the Conference Finals. Tell you how my predictions went. Tell you what the MLS Cup is, and leave it there. Monday, off on Monday, next Monday. Tuesday, second legs of 3rd place. Well, you know what it is, but we'll get there when we get there. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. Let's go.